Hey, what's going on, Podcast Nation? It is Jason Harris here, and thank you for joining me another episode of Strategy Mob. Now, today is a unique episode. In fact, I've been looking forward to doing this episode like all week long. I have the one and only, the CEO, the founder of Smokes Poutinerie, Ryan Smolkin. Ryan, thank you so much for taking the time to jam with me today.
Gotta fire it up, brother. That's what it's all about.
That's right. We're gonna bring the heat, and I'm going to have to adjust a lot of audio during this one because I know Ryan's going to be very passionate. So Ryan is a very passionate person.
Staying calm this time. This one, I'm staying calm. I'm usually the lead. Now I'm the follower. I'm staying calm. I'm not overshadow, brother.
Well, hey, Ryan, to kind of get us started, for everybody out there that's watching and listening right now and don't know kind of how you got started, let's kick it off with an origin story. So, what is the origin story of Ryan Smolkin?
Whoa, like you're talking like way back to my first French fry I had, my first poutine when I was 6 months old.
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that.
Are you talking when I started Smokes Poutinerie? I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, man. I've had 3 businesses that I've always keyed in on that I've told, but I've had multiple other businesses when I was a kid, like when I was the lemonade stands and the selling squash rackets and whatnot on campus. But we won't talk about those scams. They come back to haunt me. But 3 main ones, I started a branding and design company right out of university. So if you haven't seen Smokes Poutinerie, all about branding, all about design. It's about the experience, the creativity, all the lumberjack plaid that goes with it. So all about brand. Property development, I started with my first property actually in university and built that into my little mini empire. It turned out to be the property I bought in 4th year university, and wanted to cram all my buddies into one location at the coolest keg party house of all time in 4th year at Wilfrid Laurier. But then it actually, it ended up I graduated and I realized, holy shit, I might be able to make some coin off of this. Paid my rent. And so had enough built up, bought a second property, sold all those assets off back in 06, 07. But I built it into about $4 million in assets, 13 locations, a couple hundred beds. And it was because it was just had my Amoeba Corp, the branding and design taking off. So I had to get rid of one, concentrate on the other, and then sold that off I think to get Smokes Poutinerie going. So Smokes Poutinerie, first location back in 09. Downtown Toronto, the first poutinerie of all time. And I challenge anybody out there to say I didn't create this whole food category. I did not create poutine. That's obviously the traditional poutine from Quebec, the fries, cheese curd, and gravy side dish. But we took that side dish and made it into a meal and loaded everything you can think of on top of poutine and created poutinerie. So I challenge you again.
Like literally everything. I mean, is there anything you haven't put on a poutine yet?
I haven't put on anything automotive. No automotive parts on it. I haven't put on.
Well, that's probably a good thing.
Anything you can think of, I think we've loaded on top, or at least have discussed it. But love any ideas that always flow in that we get going. Like we've done sushi, man. We've done surf and turf, steak and lobster. We've done eggs Benedict poutine, slaughterhouse poutine with every single meat you can think of in the world loaded on top. Anything and everything we'll try it. Boneless chicken wings. That's what we got going. Waffles, syrup, anything, man.
Well, I love that because you know what it is? It just means there's a product for everybody. Do you know what I mean? Like you literally have something for everybody.
Out there. We got veggie gravy.
And you know what? You I was gonna say you even have a gluten-free one.
Yes,
a lot of my family and a lot of my friends are gluten intolerant, and you guys make a gravy with cornstarch. So like you literally decided that there's not going to be a person out there that that won't be able to appreciate a poutine from your place. So that's awesome. Now, how many locations do you have right now? How many locations do you have nationwide right now?
Well, that's a tough question because I act a bit weird, wild, and wacky and get the excitement rolling, but I actually got a ton closed right now. Not good times right now, as we all know.
No kidding, right?
There's this little virus thing going around. So it's tough times. I got about 150 locations total, but I have 90 of them in the sports and entertainment industry. So what I call Smokes Poutinerie Sports and Entertainment. That takes us into the stadiums, the arenas, it's in the amusement parks. Whatnot, all shut down. All the universities all shut down. So, I've got 90 there closed. And then with all my 4-wall developments, that's the above ground brick and mortar, my franchisees. Fuck, dude, we've already shut down 10. and we're talking some permanent shutdowns and other ones, as I like to hope are temporary shutdowns. And my franchisees who are still out there fighting the battle in the trenches, sales are way down in the majority of them, but they're still there and they've scaled it back. They're going, maybe noon to 8, noon to 10, some of them doing solo shifts. Going as much as they can, working 7 days a week. So they're trying to stay alive. So we've probably only got, honestly, dude, I only got maybe 30 open right now.
Wow,
scary shit.
Yeah, that is scary. Shit. But that's
and
the
those
case
that are
for a
open
lot of people.
Are gone down. Yeah, it's
it's the truth. It's just the reality for a lot of companies out there. But I do find
how dare you ask me that? You can't.
How dare! I know I got you emotional. I'm so sorry.
5 minutes into it, I'm crying already. Oh man, you said this was a happy.
I told you I'm like the Oprah of automotive podcast out there.
And you're gonna give you a restaurant, and I'm gonna give you a restaurant.
Yes, and you get a poutine, and you get a poutine, and you get a poutine. But no, I think there is an opportunity though with businesses, with small businesses out there right now, is that they can take maybe some of this newfound time and really focus on their brand. I find a lot of small businesses invest just an enormous amount of money in marketing to constantly be filling this pipeline of acquisition, and they spend almost this amount of time on actually creating a brand. But you are the polar opposite. I mean, you've spent this much time building a brand, and it's the brand for you is what continues to feed the business, and it will continue to feed the business way beyond even after this time frame when we're able to get back out of our houses and start exploring again. So talk to me a little bit about why did you decide to go that direction? Why you embrace brand so much more than your marketing efforts? What made you to make that decision?
Oh, dude, we're selling fries, cheese, curd, and gravy. Nothing too exciting about that. And I've had those send us before because we've always got, it's the fire it up. It's the global domination. It's all our lumberjack plaid. It's where we answer the phone, serve the dishes, greet people at the door, answer any questions. It's all about brand. And people say, but it's so easy for you. Obviously, you got this excitement and this craziness going. It's like, easy. We sell potatoes, man. Like you just have to you find whatever direction you want to go, no matter what industry you're in, what product you're selling, what service you've got. You've got to be able to find your niche and really be able to communicate it. But from the very beginning, like I said, I knew I'd have to drive it, and everybody knows Smoke himself, the man, the myth, the legend.
They do. I do want to hear that story, by the way, because I don't know the story behind Smoke.
Well, he built the brand. He is the brand. He said, Ryan, I'm going to come to you with the idea of a lifetime. We are going to take poutine around the world and take it to the masses and shove the fries, curd, and gravy down people's throats until they love it. And I said, okay, Smoke, I'm going to do it. What do I have to do for you? And he just laid it all out for me. He is the brand. He is the man, the myth, the legend. Like I said, he only communicates through me, by the way. If you have any questions,
that's awesome.
I can get back to you right away. He's actually just outside the door over there. He's a shy guy. But anything you need answered, I get the answers. But all he asks is his face and his name are on the logo. Rest is history. But it's about the music. I don't know if you actually I do know. You already told me you've been in a bunch of our restaurants, so you know what we're playing.
Yeah. Well, it's about the experience.
Exactly.
It's like
80s rock. The Smoke said it's 80s rock and hair bands, glam rock. He said it's going to be the plaid. He said it's going to be the atmosphere. It's all around it. It's even our. It goes down to the.
Okay, let's talk about the atmosphere real quick, because I do think that is one of the most unique things that when I come into one of your locations is that atmosphere. And I think a lot of businesses, they kind of drop the ball on that. It's like they weren't necessarily intentional with their atmosphere. It's like if they're a car dealership, it's a car atmosphere. If they're
look at my beautiful atmosphere now. Here you put me on the spot.
Well, dude, I'm the same way. I got a closet door behind me as well.
I got a white door. That's my brand. But no, I hear you, dude. But if you go to my restaurant, it's a little different. I usually do.
And one of these days, we're going to do one of these in the restaurant, so people can get a feel for that. But it doesn't take much, right? I mean, I think anybody goes to your website or goes to your YouTube channel and watches some of those videos, they instantaneously get a feeling for what that atmosphere is. Now, I'm going to throw something out there because I'm pretty confident I'm correct in this statement. But when you design this atmosphere, you didn't design it for yourself. You designed it for your customer.
and for smoke.
So talk to me a little bit about like the development of that atmosphere. Did you kind of say like, all right, here's the idea of what our audience is going to be, and then we're going to create something around them? Or was it like this is my love, this is my passion, so I'm going to build something around that? How did that work out for you?
A little bit of both, dude. A little bit of I live and breathe through Smoke, and he through me, and came up with it. But I do like my glam rock and hair bands. I'm an '80s rock guy, so that happened to slip in there. And so Smoke and I fell in love in that part too. You know, we both love our old Atari games. We play with our He-Man action figures still, so you know we had a lot in common. So we had to take that and put it into a restaurant, and then figure out, okay, now what are we going to sell? We got to sell a product now. We had that choice, had that down. But it was just to be weird, wild, and wacky, be crazy, be loud, crazy Canadians, crazy Canucks. We're told we're crazy Canucks, but we're not loud enough. So I mean, that's where it all came about. Actually, a disruptor. Can you read that?
I know, and that's perfect because it literally leads into my next question for you.
Yeah.
It's being a disruptor. So what does that mean to you? What does that mean to you to be a disruptor?
It's just stirring it up, man. It's stirring the shit up just to be loud and proud of what you do. You know, in our case, you know, I'm small compared to the big boys. I always like to say we're like the top of tier 2. So like the tier 1 guys being the big guys, you know, McDonald's and Tim's and KFC and Subway and all those boring places. Did I say that?
No, I didn't say that. We'll take that. No. But you know what, though? None of them have global domination in their mission statement. So, you know, there's a big difference there.
Global domination by providing unique Canadian food experience that will entertain the world. Whoa, yeah! Right down to the vision statement. Good call, brother. I should have started with that. Got to bring you on board. Mike is out for marketing. Since Mike didn't make it to this podcast, we're just gonna have to throw you under the bus, Mike. Yeah. You didn't make it. You're fired. You're out. Apologize. The guy with the orange tie is now in. We'll just make that a plaid tie, and you're set.
There we go. I'll do the plaid vest, and then we'll do the orange. There we go.
But it had to be something that was different. It had to be something that was unique, right? It had to be something that was loud and proud. And I did have the branding and design company before this, like I said. So it's about brand, it's about experience, you know, and everybody's saying that. And as that rolled on, I'm about 11 years old now, just turned 11. And about 6-7 years ago, it was everybody starting brand experience. It's starting to catch on. We're already established. We're going. So I pulled in all my peeps I've got a kitchen for all our training right in our office. We're up in Ajax, got a wicked, when you want to see brand, that's what we'll sit down our global headquarters. Fucking platification.
That's awesome. I'm looking. Sorry, what did you just call it? What word?
Platification. It got platified. Platomorphosis, like we can call it whatever you want.
This is my takeaway for everyone watching and listening right now. This is a thing, platification. And if you didn't know, now you know.
Exactly. We created that, and I challenge anyone again to say I didn't create that word. But then, so I pull everybody into our global headquarters, into the kitchen. I'm shooting show them and said, so it's brand experience, but it's bigger than that. What are we? We're an entertainment company. Everything we do has to entertain. And that's where it kind of got the shtick. And from there, we'd always been that. We'd always entertained, but it was taking it to that next level. And it was creating the poems that you might bring up later. It was creating the songs. It was creating it's the creative that goes behind the ideas. But it's even stirring the shit. Like Disruptors, for instance, that was from the beginning. Like, I've taken jabs at all the big boys right out there. Like we had, for instance, I won't get into details because they don't have the visuals to go with it, but we decided to do this campaign launch behind Double Double. You know, Double Double.
Nice.
And apparently there's a coffee shop out there that's called Tom's or Tones, or I don't know, I forget what it's called, Hortons.
Something like that. Timmy Bob's or something, I don't remember.
Yeah, they claim that they own Double Double. And I said, whatever, dude. My promotional material may have looked a little like theirs. I'm not sure. It was a yellow and brown.
That's
anyway.
Awesome.
But it was double curd, double gravy. I said, I own the curd and gravy. You don't own that. So anyways, had to let that one go. Then we did another one with this place, McDee's or something like that. So we had the Mac Daddy poutine. So I'd go on air, I was doing a lot of that. So it came in two sizes. We had the small Mac Daddy and we had the Big Mac Daddy. with special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, all on fries, curd, and gravy. So I kind of stirred it up a little bit again there. And then we had another one where KFC actually was a fun one. They came out with their popcorn chicken poutine,
I
but
remember
they
that.
had, yeah, and if you remember, when they launched it, they had the nerve. Colonel Sanders, who was best friends with Smoke, they have the same complexion.
They do. They do look similar. They're
They're
distant
buddies from,
cousins of each other or something.
yeah, and they launched this, and the Colonel is wearing plaid. I'm like, what the hell's up with that? So I challenged them, and this was a wicked social one for us. We put the heat on. We said, and Smoke actually dressed up a lot like Colonel Sanders. It looked very much like Colonel Sanders, and said, we're gonna start selling some fried chicken then if you're gonna sell poutine. So they get back to us with a, yeah, we'll bring it on. And so then I have a slide on. I wish I could show you, but it was Smoke and the Colonel in the ring, smoking, knocking them out.
Okay, that's absolutely awesome.
So it's that social banter, and this is against the big boys. That's all win-win for us. We had Wendy's where we did the bacon eater poutine, so it's extra bacon on it, and so they have this thing. I didn't know it at the time. It's called the Baconator. It just seems similar. So, anyways, that's disruption. And you push that limit as far as you can to get recognized, to get noticed. And that's the only way a small guy like us, and I'd like to say like me, but it's like us, small guy like us, are going to survive and be able to make it to where we are. It's to stir up the shit, man. Stir up the pot.
It is. It's exactly what it is. We do have to stir it up. I mean, I've done the same in my industry. I use a lot of 4-letter words. I don't agree with, a lot of the OEMs and what they do out there. It's like, oh crap, or no, but through that disruption, all right, I feel like people connect with us. Like they connect.
Yeah.
They connect, and they want to be a part of it. Well, I mean, Ryan, I'll tell you. You know how I first heard about you? One of my employees showed up one day to one of our strategy sessions wearing a shirt, and I was like, what the hell is that? Because I from a design perspective, I was like, it's gorgeous. And then he explained to me, and I said, you bought a T-shirt? So let me get this straight. You went there to get fries, gravy, and cheese curds. And you got that, and you walked out with a T-shirt. And he was like, "Yeah, man." It was just,
and then they do the hats,
Yeah,
and then,
exactly.
And people are wearing they're buying our stuff, they're wearing our brand.
Well, because they want to be a part of that story, right? And that kind of leads into my next, question for you: is that there's an art to telling the story. I feel that consumers buy into a story way before they buy into a product. I mean, think of how many restaurants out there sell fries, gravy, and cheese curds. Thousands of them out there, but they don't have your story. And I feel like any small business, I don't care if they're an automotive dealership or they're selling plumbing supplies, or they're a real estate agent, or the king of poutinerie, poutines. There's an art to that storytelling, and I'd love to kind of hear your thoughts on that. Of how do you start with that story, and how do you get that to resonate with your audience?
Again, I can't take credit for it. I have to give that to Smoke. I just have to always say that. That's my disclaimer, because I cannot take credit. That's the only thing. He might pull the plug on me and take it back. But it's just looking at your audience, look at the voids, look at what's out there, and it's in every industry, like you're saying. It's like food. Food for me is like, it's obviously, you guys know too, in your industry too, it's just oversaturated, and you got to stand out. And it's everybody's, especially now with the economic times what we're into, you're just in this big pot of fucking mud, and you got to stand out and be loud. And that's where the Stay the Fuck Inside poem and video came out, because we had to stand out. You got to say something louder than everybody else is to get noticed, right? And so from the beginning of time, that's what we've been doing. And even though in this industry, technically poutinerie did not exist, but we're not competing against, at that time, other poutineries. We're competing against everything and anything out there that, in our certain case, I was focused on nightlife, right? Midnight to 4 a.m., downtown urban core, 18 to 25, university towns. Like, that was our core market. They've got the money.
There's a lot of people fighting for that audience.
Exactly. Still lots of people find shawarma place, falafel, pizza slices, subs, like anything you can think of. That's who we're up against. So saturated again. But that's where I think our brand evolved from. Technically, to answer the first question you had 15 minutes ago, was because of our target audience, right? It starts with the target and who we're going after, not so much the product. We could have been selling fucking anything. And that's why, and that's interesting. I even say that to slip that in, they get off subject and then come back to it later for you.
That's what we'll do this whole podcast.
Even from the very beginning and still to this day, even at our trade shows, even like, so this is top down. This is like global headquarters. We're doing the trade shows when I'm selling this in. Like these are our trade show booth is like, it's platified again. It's a full rock and roll stage show. And it literally looks like we have this huge rock and roll stage that it looks like we're blasting the
so cool.
rock the whole time. We're blasting the 80s rock. I'm air guitaring out front and singing the songs to everybody, full fatigue for 12 hours. They think I'm just some entertainment dude. They don't know I own the whole puppy. And it's just entertainment right from the very beginning, because that's going to attract the right people that we want as our partners and our franchisees. And true enough, bud, people will come, they'll do air guitar with me, we're shooting shit, we're having fun, we're high-fiving, we're laughing, and it's 10 minutes into it, and then they say, so what do you guys do anyways? How do I get one of these?
That's awesome. You know? What the hell is this? I've been jamming with you for the last 10 minutes. This is freaking great. But what do you actually do?
Exactly, dude. And those are the peeps you want. They're already pre-sold, and they want it because they understand the brand. Or it's not that person who comes up to the booth and saying,
they want to be a part of that story. Right?
Yeah, what do you guys sell? What's Poutine? How much money do I make? What's my return on investment? Like, it's like, fuck that shit. That comes second. Like, obviously that's part of the deal, but believe in the brand and believe in what you're about to invest $500,000 into to start up your one restaurant. Like, you got to believe in what you're doing or it's going to fail. So be part of that. And then that transcends down, right? Then it's through our franchisees, then it's to their managers, to their employees, and across the counter to the guests and our fans. We call them our fans, right? So it all goes with that, all that same mentality. It's a rock and roll stage show. It's weird, wild, and wacky. And it's all about global domination. Boom! Yeah!
I love the global domination part.
I've been saying that since day one, dude.
That's so awesome. And you know what it does? Like, look, it supports your brand. You have a well-defined brand. You're able to tell the story of the brand in a way that not only your consumers, the people that are buying, the cheese, fries, and gravy, but also the franchisees. So it's like, I want to be a part of that story. It's like, I see you out there, Ryan. Cheese. It's like, did I just say cheese? I'm so sorry. That's the American in me. Curd.
Whoa! Shut this down now. You said you could edit this after. That better come through. It comes through.
I just said the wrong word. There we go.
All right. Go on. All right.
But I find that when you connect the consistency of your brand, your ability to tell a story and get people to want to be a part of that story, there's a byproduct of the two of those things kind of coming together. They have a baby, right? Branding, storytelling get together. They go out for a couple dates, maybe a few drinks, who knows? And then all of a sudden 9 months later, something comes out. And what it comes out is culture, which is something like, I've been to multiple your locations, and I will say this, this is impressive, the fact that the consistency of the culture,
that's great to hear, man.
Like you know what I mean? That is so hard to get. I mean, I can walk into pretty much any other business out there, and it's just like from one side to the other side of the country, there's always a slight difference. But the culture gets so embedded into the people. And the half a dozen locations that I've visited, because I do drive about 5,000 to 8,000 kilometers a month. Not right now, obviously. I'm stuck at home, haven't worn shoes in 2 weeks. But but that's the fun part. Yeah. But that has allowed me to really just kind of see how that brand and that story is getting consumed into your staff. How do you continue to ensure that consistency? Is there something that you're doing to ensure that the culture of each location is at par?
Oh, 100%, dude, because as soon as it loses that, our whole brand is spiraling down and out of control. Easiest thing to lose, right? And that's why we have that biggest challenge that's out there. And we have our brand advocates that we have and brand ambassadors that we have at every single location. And that doesn't have to be the franchisee. That doesn't have to be the manager. That could be the kid who's got the most Smokes Poutinerie blood in them, and that excitement and energy. They're part of the brand ambassador club, and we do monthly meetings on that. And we just create weird, wild, whacked out ideas. And that doesn't come from global headquarters, and here you must do that nationally. We do have our national campaigns, but no, that's how can you interpret it? What weird, wild, and wacky stuff can you be doing on site? What can you do with your people? What can you do with your environment? Whatever you've got with pretty much zero budget, what can you do to keep that excitement? But again, it's top down. It goes from the culture just at the trade show booth, like I said, but then even to our global headquarters, nonstop. It's a hair metal playing all day, every day. But it's not just playing. It's you're singing it. You're playing the guitar to it. So I'll be in my office. I'll be in the middle of the meeting.
It's a part of you. You believe in it.
Yeah, I'll hear the song playing. Could be anything. Crazy Nights by Kiss, Kickstart My Heart by Motley Crue, Nothing But a Good Time by Poison, whatever it is, I'll hear it and I'll just go to the center. It's usually tougher songs than that because those are easy songs. But
I was gonna say you kind of threw out some. Those are three of like the most common karaoke,
exactly,
midnight '80s
that
rock
example. Because I'll go. Oh, you're totally right. Because I'll go like the B side of a Tesla release, right?
All right, there you go. You go.
Like that, nobody know, but I know them all. So I'll go in the middle of the office and I'll just start singing to everybody in our whole office. And the first one who can name the song, I'll buy them a coffee. I'll go get them a coffee and I'll serve them coffee all day, whatever they want in it. I'll take them out for lunch. And everybody's Shazam. Everybody's trying to figure it out. That's illegal. They don't win. But what that does, it's fun. It's the atmosphere. It's entertainment. It keeps it real. We're all on the same level and we all can be like that and talk like that and act like that. But they don't realize, or at least they don't admit that they realize. I think they're smart enough now to realize that's training, right? That's instilling that brand into that, right? They know the music. They love the music. They get to know the names. They're all of a sudden humming to them, right? And they're a part of it. And not to say that transcends all the way down, because that could be my marketing team that's creating the marketing programs that are going out. That could be my operations team that are going out to do the store visits and to do the grading on the atmosphere and the branding as a part of, just as much as to the temperature of the meat that's in the gravy in the gravy well. Like anything, man. Like there's health, there's quality, there's atmosphere. But it's about the brand. That's the same part, just equal part of our BIR. That's our business integrity.
Well, I think that's super important. I mean, I think businesses have to understand that culture is not an accident. Like it's intentional. I mean, and it's work.
And it doesn't just come like that either. And stay there.
Yeah. Like you have to consistently work at it. And I love the idea of having these brand ambassadors or these culture ambassadors. That's really kind of what they end up turning into for you, is that each location. I mean, look, I work with a lot of automotive groups, and they'll have 40 to 100 locations, and they could be spread out all over the country. And they're constantly asking me, like, how do we maintain that consistency of the culture? And I think that's an amazing way to do that, is to ensure that you have a champion, a culture champion, a culture, manager, a brand manager at each location to ensure that it's staying on point. But it's work. I mean, I imagine that, you have found ways to hack it, like when the songs come on. Like that's a hack for you, right? You kind of hear it in your head, you hear it in the background. You're like, okay, I got an opportunity, But for a lot of us, like we have to find ways to hack, and then we also have to find ways to be intentional with our staff about that. And the neat thing is what ends up happening. The byproduct is that now that when they execute something, they're executing it on a level that they've been empowered to do so, because they're so familiar with the culture. They're part of the culture. What it is, right? It's power to the people. It's like you have to empower. Like culture is not, it's not a book. It's not a logo that sits on your chest or a T-shirt. That can be the brand that supports it. But the culture is something that happens when, Ryan, you're not there. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's funny, and you said about it's not the shirt and what you wear, and then I just did that, but jokingly, but at the same time, you know what? It's just what you said before. It's the person who wants to wear that shirt. They're not just putting it on
exactly
because it's got a logo. Like you're not seeing somebody wearing this proud with some golden arches or a Subway logo or something. No, like
come on, dude. There's no culture there. Come on, let's just talk about it. Like I'm seriously like, who wakes up and like I'm excited to work because I work at Subway.
Exactly, and people want to buy these shirts because they want to be a part of this culture, and that's stemmed from it being mandatory all the time, anytime. Like mind you, when they're at home, maybe with the wife or going out for an anniversary dinner. or something, I'll let them take the branded stuff off. But the global headquarters at our restaurants, behind the counter in the back of house, like cooking the stuff, everybody's wearing this shirt. You are never seeing anybody out of this shirt that is even touching anything to do, even when we're setting up our trade show booth, down to the cleanup at night of a restaurant and close down, like from one end of the arena to the other. Like, you are wearing this with pride. Even when we're doing our road trips, like we're expanding internationally right now. We're doing road trips. We're traveling all over. These shirts are on there. We're going on the planes. Everybody recognizes these now. Now you can think.
Why do I picture like a plaid, like covered plane? Like, do you pull up? How awesome would that be?
Like, you just created something, man. I used to say we're on the gravy train. You just created the gravy plane. Holy
let's wrap it. Let's wrap that plane. Let's put Smoke right there, his big face right there on the tail, and let's go global.
Global domination, and that's happening. We've sold a bunch of rights overseas and by country, not just by ones and twos. We're selling by countries, by 1 and 2 countries at a time. But we do lots of traveling, all the trade shows, and going through the U.S. as we expanded. But we can't. Everybody who goes with me, they always start taking a pool. How many people are going to stop Ryan for pictures between now and boarding time on the plane? Then on the plane, how many people are going to ask for pictures? And trust me, that's not me being cocky. It's not Ryan they want.
No. But it just goes to show. Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's the brand that you created, which actually is a perfect segue into my next question, is talking about social media. Look, there's still a lot of small businesses out there. Everything from Joe's Plumbers, to the local Chrysler dealership, to the real estate agent, to the local shawarma place. They've all struggled, to really kind of figure out, social media. I find some of the companies will figure out the media portion of social media and they forget it's actually a social platform. But like, I want to know kind of your journey into social media, like how it got started and why is it so close to your heart?
Oh, it's our number one form of communication. Like that, the only way we could compete from the beginning of time against those tier 1 guys, like I said, is PR and social. I mean, that's it. That's our budget. We got $0, right? I mean, everybody thinks you got all this money. My first location, I ran it myself. It's franchise from the beginning. I'm at the till though. I'm running that. I'm learning it before I opened up the second. And third, it was actually 10 in our second year, 10 in 2010, 10 and 10. That was our goal. We did it. But to get there, you got to realize there's no ad fund. The franchisees are paying into an ad fund, 2 points on gross, but that's not all at once. So even if that first place does 800 grand and we're getting 2 points on that, right? You can think there's 16 grand of our whole ad budget, not at the beginning of the year. That's by the end of the year. So
and that goes fast.
So when I started, it was Facebook. Facebook was big. That was the platform, and it was inviting one at a time. Boom, sitting up late at night to 3 a.m, man, just inviting one person at a time. That's what people don't realize.
They don't realize it. It's how manual this thing is.
Now. Yeah, hundreds of thousands now. Started one invite at a time that I would stay up late doing, and then just started to go on. We just do weird, wild, wacky, fun stuff. Just push the limits on it without offending people. Like nothing that's offensive, nothing that's racist, nothing that's sexist. And we do have our boundaries too, but just anything that'll push those boundaries. Now the newest one for us, obviously, be TikTok. I'm actually starting to do that, having a lot of fun.
Yeah, how's that going, Ryan?
Hey. Just check my stuff out because I need the support. That's the ones I'm doing one at a time now again.
You have to do it. I just don't think businesses understand. Like it is, you start it with one at a time, and then you start building content that your audience wants to engage with. Right? There's 2 different types of content. Right? There's content where you can educate someone, and someone will want to connect with you because you're educating them. On maybe what's the best way to make a pad thai. Maybe that's your shtick. Maybe that's the communication side, or you took the other form of content and that's the entertainment side. Like people want to connect with you and be associated and connected with the brand because there's just so much entertainment. So TikTok, that's what you're jamming with now. How many TikToks videos have you done so far? I want to know.
What have we done? Must have done maybe 30. 35. So, check it out on the Smokes Poutinerie one. I don't do it personally. It's all under Smokes Poutinerie. But check it out. And a lot of them are because right now, for the past 45 days, 50 days, now I've done support local. Actually, you know what? That's it. Dude, there's probably...
That's perfect. In fact, that was actually going to be my next question. Let's talk about that.
They're probably 60 plus on there because I've been putting all those on there too. But it's that fusion of the two things, educate and entertain together as one. You're totally right. So there can be that overlap too. So we're having a lot of fun with it, but there's some education elements to it as well. But we haven't even. I challenge myself now to even think. I don't think there's been one with our product on it. We haven't done one thing with poutine on it yet. Not one photo, not one shot yet about our product. So it is about entertaining and having fun, but different messaging, different angle when it's Facebook, when it's Twitter, when it's Instagram, and you go down the pipeline. Like you have to hit them all, or at least we do. And with our franchisees, again, we have our national programs that we do, and our franchisees have their regional promotions that we hold them to. We let them have their own voice, and we were really holding it back at first, wanted to control it.
Yeah, that'd be a little scary, right?
Yeah, because they represent them. You have to really monitor, and we still do monitor what they say on a national program. Suggestions how to execute it on a regional level, and how they can use their different social platforms. And each of them have their strengths and weaknesses, and in different pockets too, in the different messaging you want to put out. So it's tough, and I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know anything about social. You just follow it, man. You just do it, and all of a sudden, 10 years later, we got
that is a good point. Like
followers, but I don't know what the hell we're doing.
Well, you have to just get started, right? Like you got to start.
LinkedIn's another great one too for business. LinkedIn.
It is, and that's actually where I found my audience was going to be the biggest. Yeah. Now I'm still supporting all the other networks of Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, but for me, it's LinkedIn. So it is kind of knowing your audience a little bit, right?
Yeah, Ryan Smolkin, Chief Entertainment Officer. That's LinkedIn. Like,
it is,
all
right?
The rest of them are Smokes Poutinerie. It's Smokes Poutinerie. But mine, I actually do. The only one I do personally is LinkedIn because that's the professional level. So I'm so professional.
Because you're so professional. I don't think we'll use that. We'll beep the professional word out in this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't say that. Oh God, where's that? That's
what are you doing?
That's profanity. I've never said that word before. What are you bringing out of me right now?
I know, look at that. Well, I did want to talk about, I know we're getting towards the tail end of our time, but I did want to talk real quick about support local. How did that start? What drove you to start, creating this content and putting it out there?
Dude, it was just to do exactly what it says, is support local. I mean, we're getting hit crazy, insane right now. And that's not an exaggeration. We're, like I already told you at the beginning, we're shutting doors left, right, and center. And there's people shutting them way faster than we're shutting them. And there's some that haven't even been open since March 15, right? Like think about the shopping malls, think about other retail. They're shut down, man. The essentials are restaurants. The essentials are restaurants, so we've been able to stay open, but that's not good, man. Like we're forcing my peeps to stay open and just try to lose less money. And even that doesn't necessarily come when we don't have the support of landlords. The rent relief programs are ridiculous. We don't qualify for those because we're only down 50 or 60% in sales. We're not down 70. It's just ridiculous. I know,
right?
Programs. We get nothing. The wage subsidy one, ridiculous again, because these are my franchisees that are staying open and doing it themselves, so they don't qualify for it, right? Like we're getting nothing. We're getting nothing. So I just had to reach out and just do whatever I could. So I just started small, just support local, and I went to every single different place. Nothing to do with Smokes Poutinerie. A lot of it started with restaurants, but it ended up going once a day, just buying something local. And that could be from PetSmart. That was just going to a floral shop one time, just sending flowers to a friend just to brighten their day. But the majority has been in the food category and buying meals, and a lot of it through Uber Eats and Skip the Dishes and DoorDash, just getting the deliveries or just going and doing the pickups. So it just started with one, and every single day I've done a different one and gone and bought from somewhere different. And it's exploded from there. Like where it's kind of gone, like is with the support I've been getting. Not only I do my own personal ones, like I said, on LinkedIn, but it's the explosion on all our social platforms. And that's what we've been even feeding them, the scaled down versions on TikTok. So from one end, LinkedIn, most professional, down to TikTok, the most ludicrous, idiotic stuff. Like it's at full range.
Well, everybody connects with that message.
Yeah, and then I get my partners on board with that. Like first to jump on board the gravy train was Cisco. So Cisco Canada, they're my distributor. I deal with them internationally. They do everything around the world for me. And right now, they couldn't be any better and any closer. partner trying to help out. So what do? I said, because when we started with our online promos, we did all BOGOs, buy one, get one. So not only are we losing money, we're doing minimal sales at these locations. We're paying 30 points off the top to delivery service companies. And now I'm doing BOGO. Now I'm buy one, get one. You can imagine how much our places
Oh man, those margins are just getting squeezed.
Yeah, so then we're losing money, but then we said, okay, but for 1 week we wanted to do it different. We wanted to do a buy one, give two. So buy one poutine, we were going to give 2 pounds of potatoes to charity and to food banks, and I let all my franchisees across the country decide what food bank they're going to. Yeah, and so what does Cisco do? Cisco Canada fucking steps up to the plate and they say, we're going to match you, Ryan. We're going to provide another 2 pounds. So it ended up being a buy one, give 4 pounds of potatoes. So every single poutine sold. So that was just for a weekend. We ended up giving 13,600 pounds of potatoes. 13,600 pounds.
That's awesome.
That felt good. So then it spiraled from there. Then it got into, getting in with people like Coca-Cola, getting in with Kraft Heinz, getting in with Cardinal Meats, and getting with Maple Leaf Foods. Like all my major partners all want to be a part of this and get on the gravy train. What can we do to help support local and do some programs? And that's what's awesome. And then I got in with Dean Blundell. I don't know if you know Dean, former jock that got kicked off the airways.
Yeah. There's a good story in itself.
That's a whole other one. I'll bring Dean in for that one. So I've known Dean for a long time. And so I got doing a regular podcast with Dean now, all about support local. I do it every Tuesday and Thursday, and I bring in somebody new each time I'm there. So it just shows you how one little small thing can just take off. So that's why
it's the human element, though. I mean, like Ryan, let's
get off your ass and do something.
But let's say something real quick. You're not doing this as a marketing play.
No,
you're doing this because you're convicted to doing this. This is you doing it, right? Hey, real quick, because you mentioned the podcast, for anybody out there that's listening, watching right now, and they don't want to join in and follow along with that podcast, how do they do so? What's the title?
Just go into Dean Blundell.
Okay, cool.
It's all under Dean Blundell's
show. Now, there are a lot of people that
I haven't brought it to my realm yet. I'm going to be kicking Dean out soon, but just don't tell him that.
We'll edit that part out. Not really. We're going to keep it in. Dean, you're fired.
No. Dean, fired. I'm in with the Thai guy.
The Thai guy. But no, I think there's a lot of people out there that love what you're doing and would love to also be a part of it as well. For anybody out there that's watching and listening and they want to kind of, be a part of that, support local campaign, what can someone do that's at home right now to be a part of this?
Oh, you know what? Just email me and we'll discuss it and be a part of it. Like, that's the best way, man. Just email me, Ryan at smokespodinerie.com. Pretty easy to remember. But beyond that, just go out and just do that, because you got to figure, by do that, I mean, just buy local, buy something, go to a restaurant, get a meal, because that's the toughest thing for people to understand in our industry right now. It's not like we're just, it's down 20%. Like, look at everybody we're talking to right now. You're at home. You're buying nothing. So it goes from maybe buying 5 lunches a week for yourself out, like at this restaurant, and then doing a couple dinners a week. You're rushing to get your kid to soccer or to hockey or something. You're going to get pizza. You're going in for a quick dinner here. Like, you're probably talking 7, 8, 10 times. You don't realize it that you're eating a week. Now it's zero. It's zero. So it's not just gone down from 10 to 8 or 8 to 4. No, it's zero, man. Maybe once. Maybe
crazy.
Done. And so that's why we're just getting destroyed. So even putting out the mandate with my peeps over at Coke, they got 6,000 people across the country. They've pretty much mandated that everybody's got to go out and buy just one. Just go out once a week. Just once a week. That's 6,000 orders a week. Not Smokes Poutinerie. That's why you're saying this isn't about promoting me. Just go out and support the industry. Just do one a week. That's all we ask. And if you can just spread that and nurture that and get that message across to everybody out there, there's hundreds of thousands of people. And you can imagine that turns into tens of millions of dollars to get injected into an industry just by doing one meal a week. That's all we're asking. So, and then that saves so many jobs, because we've just had to. It's you see the EI out there. You see how many people that don't have the money, but they might do have the money.
Yeah, that's true. Hey Ryan, I know we're getting towards the end of our session.
I know,
but I know we could probably do this for like another hour. And but before we do this, I could ask my favorite question of the day to everybody that does a podcast with me. I get to ask Ryan, what is pissing you off?
Whoa!
Come on, Ryan. I know you got one. You did a little video about it last week.
What is pissing me off is that people just don't stay the fuck inside. Like, oh my fucking God. Can you believe that shit? Stay the fuck inside. And I don't mean everybody who's in this. I say everybody's got to go out there. Even I'm going out there a lot. I'm back and forth to the restaurants I'm working at. There's the necessities. There's the people that are in the trenches, obviously. Like, those people have to be out there. So what I'm saying, stay inside. I more mean macro, bigger stuff. Don't go out and party. Don't be going out. Like, that stuff's out of the border. It's happening right now, man. That's the most ridiculous crap I've ever seen. You're just going to have a second huge insurgency. It's going to kill our industry for good, right? Like, we're not going to 30, 40, 50% of the restaurants out of biz right now by the end of May, probably, when this is still going. But you do a second wave of this. Oh my God, I don't even want to know.
It would. I mean, you're right. I can't even imagine what it's going to do. Like, it is. It is weird. I don't think people realize how thin the foundation is.
Landlords out there. God damn it. Landlords, come on. Deferral is not work for us. That will not help. That's an interest-free loan that I got to pay double the amount back on my rent, like 3 months from now, when I got zero business still, or 25% of my business than it was from last year, and you want to pay double rent. Deferral is not an option. Abatement, we need to get some rent relief, not the program that the government has right now. God, you got me on a rampage now.
See, I knew it was going to happen. I knew the second I asked what's pissing Ryan off, it was just going to come out.
And the delivery platform, 30 points off the top. Come on, let's cap these guys at
seriously, right?
50 points. Those guys are booming. They're making tons of money on the delivery platforms now. We're not. Restaurants are getting killed. We're going to be closing left, right, and center. You won't even see chains and brands are going to be shutting down all over the place. It's sad, but the flip side, strong will survive. You'll shake it out, and they'll still be there. Smokes Poutinerie will still be there, because I'm going to be up, and I'm fighting my ass off for this. Like, we're going to be up and moving and shaking and destroying everything around us, and it's going to be the global domination still. But you got to get up and fight for it, man. So, other last one that pisses me off: get off your ass and do something.
No, that's true though. Like, this is not a time to stick your head in the sand and your fingers in your ear and go la 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 la. It is time for action, and I couldn't agree with you more on that. Ryan, for everybody out there that's watching and listening right now and would love to connect with you and just kind of follow along with your journey, what is the best way to do so?
Just go eat at Smokes Poutinerie, and you'll see my whole story when you're up in there. But no, just email anytime. Follow us on any of the platforms. Just go Smokes Poutinerie on any of the social platforms. Follow us on there. But honestly, dudes, just be real and support local.
Awesome. Hey, thanks again, Ryan, for taking the time to jam with me today. This was a ton of fun.
Rock on, my brother. Loving it.
Have a good one. Thanks.